Hello, and welcome to an actual play podcast of Daemonologie, an upcoming tabletop role-playing game. The game is a work in progress, so rules may change, but the stories will remain. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's go around, as always, and introduce ourselves. I'm Alex, and I'm going to be mediuming, and my pronouns are he, they.
I'm Siobhan. I'm playing the investigator, Tanazart Wallet Baraksen. My pronouns are he, him.
Hello, my name is Fionn. I will be playing the druid knight, Sir Rumpert, and my pronouns are he, him.
Hello, I'm Mo, and I'm playing the reformed rogue named Eli and my pronouns are they, them.
I am Josh. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing the thaumaturge, Piotyr Benedictus Kirschmov.
Hello, my name is Felix, and my pronouns are they, them. I play Dr. Jude Chassimon, who is also a reformed rogue, and he is one prestige point away from outranking everyone even more.
Surely every prestige point is just another addition to you outranking us. The Achilles tortoise thing. We can't actually catch up.
Whenever I hear Eli's name now, I then immediately hear Swolthorn and air horns.
We should just change it. Swolthorn.
Let's chat very briefly about what happened last time, because it was jam-packed and tons of fun.
Great burning hellfire was inflicted upon the demon's allies.
It was quite intense.
It was great.
I really like that Fionn. I think the line that really stuck out to me most was Fionn's right again, as everybody in the dreaming was being pummeled by a cathedral, and Fionn was like, "No, don't go into the dream. Lure it out of the dream, and then destroy it here." And then everyone was like, "No, cool dream time." And then it was terrible. It was terrible.
No, you don't need to make
And
it
you
sound
all
like
almost
more of a
died
dream.
for no reason.
We all came out alive.
We came out
almost
fine.
didn't.
I have such strong grip in the dream.
True.
I don't want to hear any more about his strong grip. It creeps me out.
He can start his own what is it? Phone line. Since he has such strong grip for only $2.95 a minute.
Oh, that's horrid.
A minute of that grip.
A grip in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Right, I'm putting a pin in this. So we went
Move
into
us
dream,
on.
destroyed some monsters. What happened before all of the fun and excitement? I think we met the MacLeod, or the MacLeods in general.
Oh my god, my voice, it's gone.
In your thirst.
I have recruited Daddy MacLeod.
Yep. Daddy
He's
MacLeod.
giving me the feels and the shimmies.
And the shimmies. Ooh.
You can be so lucky.
Listen, don't judge.
I can't. I'm incapable of judgment.
What about
So we found the last son of Clan MacLeod, who was a brawny Viking type, and quite easily convinced him to join us to almost no difficulty, despite the fact that Rumpert alienated all of his friends earlier in the session.
Yeah, well, when you meet the friends again, I'm sure that's going to go absolutely peachy.
Especially when they ask why Rumpert's not Scottish anymore.
Well,
I'm saying that we haven't finalized the formal conversation with him, I don't think. So we kind of stopped and said, "Oh, just come along, and we'll be able."
I think he was quite impressed by the great fiery wrath that Rumpert unleashed upon the.
Yeah, I mean, he said that you're definitely going for
Didn't he
drinks.
become an ally? Or was
He
that-
will
we
after the
counted.
booze up.
Oh, he will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
did
I
count
think
him.
we counted him.
Yeah.
So
Are we all still currently homeless?
No.
Not all of us.
No, because we're bunking with the bishop.
Only two
Fucking
of
with
us
the bishop.
are.
I'm very excited.
No,
for
Eli,
that.
we aren't homeless either. Lady
Oh.
Rebecca Chastley is putting us up.
Oh, she said, okay, yeah, we're fine.
So there was the conversation at the constabulary, and what was Rumpert Piotyr was chatting to John Thornborough. What was Rumpert doing at the same time?
Oh gosh, he couldn't tell you. Rumpert's memories kind of stopped after his glorious victory in battle.
Everything that preceded that is now gone. It was all
Yeah.
battle.
It's just sort of like, yeah, I'm the best.
They
Fionn was
found
right.
out
That
about
was
the sugar
important for him.
explosives.
Yes, yes, because
Oh,
Fionn was
cool.
right twice. We forget. I was twice.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
It's
So-
actually quite funny. I listened back to one of the earlier sessions, and Josh at one point says, "Why are we ever listening to Fionn?" That's why.
That's why.
I
Yeah.
stand by it. I stand by it. I don't get to punch a cathedral if I listen to you.
That's true.
Yeah, I think for the narrative, not listening to Fiona's works out very well. But
For the
if you want to like power game, just go with what Fionn says. What shall we gather the group, because I think there was a discussion about Rumpert and Jude going back to meet the rest of the constabulary. So shall we gather everybody and sort of see where you want to be heading off from here? I think after the action in Jenny Morton's office, emerging from Stephen White's dream, Stephen slowly comes to consciousness, and he looks at the three of you in the office and says, "Well, I don't know what that was, but you seem to have done me a great service. Whatever. I'm no longer seeing things in the peripheries, and I guess I maybe shouldn't have fallen asleep last night, should I?"
We are all of us only human. But it might be best if you told absolutely no one what you saw.
What about Mrs. Morton?
Miss
Okay.
Morton may know.
Can I lean
Okay.
in and tell him to just pray and tell God that and keep
yeah.
it between you?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I saw what you did, but I didn't see anything, is what I meant to say. I didn't see anything on top of that cathedral. And he stands up off the table, gathers himself, and then sort of slowly proceeds towards the door, opens it, and heads very tentatively downstairs.
I would like
Him
to point
going
out,
to shake Piotr's hand and then like thinking better of it, having remembered the strength of his grip.
yeah,
I
would like to point out that
no more grip.
if anyone were to recount what happened, they would just say someone stumbled into the constabulary, fell asleep, and then other people fell asleep around them, and then they left, and that was it. That's all everyone else saw, just people taking a nap.
A
We had
big
a
slumber
sleepover.
party. Yeah.
Exactly.
Game of
exactly.
sleeping lions.
Really wholesome.
Taking a nap for Jesus.
A big
Thank
slumber
you.
party that lasted 30 minutes to an hour in the office of the constable.
Not weird at all.
Not weird at all.
This was the siesta.
It's what it was built for.
Absolutely fine.
Tanazart's from Spain.
So you all meet in the downstairs of the constabulary. Jenny Morton sets to writing her office, willing to not ask too many questions. Sally Dog Morton is way too timid to ask any questions. And Lady Rebecca Chasley was outside smoking. Is now just waiting for an opportunity to go with you to Robert Aldworth's.
My
So,
lady,
All
we must
fi-
wait for our friends.
Well, all five of you are downstairs in the constabulary. People are sort of milling about the building, doing other tasks, such as dealing with all sorts of battle. What do we all saying to each other? What's the plan? Rory's still with you, and still in high spirits with Rumpert. He's occasionally whispering across to Rumpert and saying, "The way that you summoned that fire straight from your hands, it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, friend.
Thank you.
I should very much like to talk to you about some of your exploits. You must have done many great things in your time."
I could tell you a thing or two about a thing or two, I suppose, but I will need a large horn of mead.
It's hard to get mead down here, but we'll keep a searching and we'll find it, and we'll have a chance to pick over these stories that you got.
Grand. And Rumpert kind of like ruffles Dog's head as he kind of thinks about boozing, and he's kind of like rubbing the dog quite hard and like really, really thinking about boozing. So he's not at all in the room, really. So whatever you guys do, he will be there in body, if not in spirit. So pretty much take him wherever you want. He's got an axe.
You need a Rumpert will follow.
Yeah, basically. But he's not going to suggest anything.
Master Eli,
Yes.
a notion has come upon me. We know now that a certain burning Scotsman, this is me whispering to Eli, of course,
Okay, quietly.
is not in fact dead.
I see.
I would like you to go to the morgue and see how a burning man may have left without anyone noticing him.
Eli nods.
Do you not want the rest of us to know about that?
Assuming the whispering meant it was supposed to be kept a secret, but not quite sure why.
Because of the other people in the room who aren't inquisitors.
We'll tell them about it later. Unless
You've got enough space to talk. They're sort of, they're doing their own things and they're not paying too much heed. So as long as you're talking amongst yourselves, that's okay.
So who here would like to come back to the morgue?
Piotyr, he has not been.
I see.
I've
see
not.
what we can-
I have heard it's good this time of year, so I would like to check out the morgue.
Does Piotyr need healing after being crushed by a cathedral?
He's taken a meager 2 damage with a minor injury, and I have got on my character sheet that I was hit by a cathedral. So.
Good.
Yeah, so is Piotyr the only one, apart from Jude, who's had their injury for a while, is Piotyr the only one with an injury at the moment?
I think I also have just a minor one.
From the shards of the cathedral.
Yeah.
See, Eli was also hit with a cathedral, but in a much smaller way.
A little bit more pathetic though, isn't it?
If they go back to the morgue, could Eli not beckon the doctor to heal their injury? As it's just but a minor one.
Mm.
So you can only heal injuries over the course of the night, but Dog Morton
right.
maybe come to tend to you and help out there.
If we don't have anything happening over the night, we could do a circle healing.
Well, yeah, I can always get the bishop to tend to me.
I was just.
In what way?
No.
Stop trying to get the bishop to happen, Piotyr. The bishop's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to fuck that bishop.
We can't loop back around to this. No. I was going to ask what do the injuries look like for the two of you? They're minor ones, so then they're relatively superficial, being hit by a cathedral, as you know. But how do they sort of present?
Eli's were probably mostly glass cuts, so probably kind of down one side of his face and arm. Probably just caught some shards.
Little tiny multiple.
Yeah, little nicks.
Ugh.
Nasty, painful.
Yeah, very nasty.
Famously, the rap name of Stevie Nicks.
Little nicks.
And for Piotyr,
I feel like I may need to ask for some assistance on this because I honestly don't know what injuries one sustains from being hit by a spire
in a dream.
Yeah,
but it's a bludgeoning wound, I suppose. You've been smacked by a lot of rock, so it would be sort of maybe
some bruising,
some heavy, rather hefty bruising, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So
if minor,
shift my jaw back into place or something.
So like serious head trauma.
Piotyr is now the same color as my mood lighting.
Head is incredibly purple and bruised.
I like the idea of Piotyr having a minor concussion.
Oh my god, he's into a smurf.
So while
Even more
Eli and Piotyr
intimidating.
head to the site of the dead bugbear in the real world, what will Tanazart, Rumpert, and Jude get up to?
Don't we introduce Daddy McLeod to Rebecca Chasley and Jenny, and then accompany Rebecca Chasley to conduct her investigation? For all intents and purposes, I will say Martha is now non-stop with Jude.
She get an upgrade.
Well, she is a companion already, but I am intending on keeping her with me just for the sake of seeing what they could do as a dynamic duo.
For just mechanically, for an agent to be about with you, they need the operative. She's got the operative.
Yeah.
Fab. Yeah, lovely. That's one of my specialisms.
I can't keep Wallace with me all the time.
Absolutely not. He's drunk and
want him
asleep.
with you all the time.
He's.
I think it would be better to keep Elton Swithin with you all the time. He's a more intimidating person.
I think it's
Definitely
so
more
important that we spend just sort of like as characters are moving off to their own places, we think of the scene but do not enact it, of Wallace being turned out of bed by the furious Marjorie Beckworth.
Poor
so-
Wallace.
Yeah, just a moment to contemplate that.
Or
We're
maybe
in
poor
the
Marjorie.
early evening, aren't we?
Yes. The
Jude,
fights
do you
have
wanna take
taken a bit of
Martha
time
off
to sort of
to
like tend to yourselves and
The
start
Merchant
to-
Venturer's office?
What would I be doing there? Because I can, but if I should have a purpose, should I not?
To try to find evidence of these undocumented goods.
I can do that. Do people want me to do that?
I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I might ask Rory if he would like to start our imbibements and libations now.
Okay, so we're going to see a 4-way split.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take Rumpert and Rory, because I think Rory's going to lead you back to the Lion on the docks and say, "We got a room. That means we can have our privacy and talk about whatever we want. And I should be able to introduce you to the rest of the McLeods down here."
I have a sneaking suspicion that perhaps I've already met them. You say the other day?
I will. If you're already introduced, then I'm sure it'll be fine.
Sure, why not?
So they start walking off towards the Lion. At the same time as Piotyr and Eli start heading off in the separate direction over towards the northeast side of Bristol, and Jude heads off the same way as Rumpert and Rory for a ways. And Tanazart with Rebecca Chasley. She's a chain smoker, which at this point in time is an incredibly expensive hobby to take up, but it's what she does, and she's rich enough. She is prepared to be walking to Aldworth's.
Tanazart will raise her hand and light her own pipe. I think Miss Morton might lend us a horse again.
Is Chasley walking?
Yeah. It's 3 hours.
Risk?
Right. Right. Yeah, I think the horse might be a good idea. A lady do carry a horse.
You've got the one horse, but Chasley says, Look. Yes, there's a horse that we can steal from the constabulary, but they need it. And I understand that you've got one yourself. I don't want to ride to a saddle. We can take our time. It's absolutely fine. And we'll be put up by Mr. Aldworth. I know him relatively well and begrudgingly. And it is not his place to deny us. We're not going to be walking back. I trust you.
But my lady, I am a woman of some years.
Yes, you can ride the horse, and I'll walk alongside you.
This is fine with me.
On the bright side, it means you can escape quite quickly should it become infested with gnomes. Again.
So Rory leads Rumpert back to the lion, and takes you upstairs after shouting to Graham Yardley. God, is that his name? So many names to keep track of. Pretty much, he's the barkeep, and shouts over and says to bring up as much replace. Yeah, what's Rumpert gonna drink? He slaps him on the chest and says, "Hey, what's your poison, friend?"
I will drink whatever the man has, and then the rest of what he doesn't.
Excellent, Yardley. You heard that? We'll have the usual. Send it up by the barrel.
And Rumpert sort of heartily laughs like this. Ha ha!
Rory looks sort of like slightly confused at Rumpert. He's starting to notice the changing accent, and says, "I think we got a lot of tales to be telling." And he leads you up to the room. Have you been to this room? I don't think you have. I think it's only Jude so far. So as I've described previously, the room is small and messy, but only by the quality of having more in it than there should be. It's relatively well tidied, apart from the fact that there's just too many things. There's a table with a smattering of chairs around it, and you recognize Carter, Winfreda Wood, and Munro all sitting around. And as soon as you enter the room, Carter stands up. She has an axe in her hand that she's picked up off the floor, and she says, "What the fuck is he doing here?" And Rory says, Hey, Rumpert, you didn't see it was not so much of a friendly interaction."
Well, I thought it was kind of friendly, but then it turned less friendly, and then they didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Aye. You got something to say to my shield maiden?
I'm sorry for offending you. If, in fact, I did offend you, but I am confused as to why you didn't want to speak to me anymore.
She says to Rory, "This man was asking about Sinead." And Rory bursts out in a tremendous roar of laughter and says, "Aye, then we got absolutely nothing to worry about, do we? This man is going to be helping us find him, and he's going to bring us back to us without any issue. Is that not right?"
And Rumpert kind of just looks at her, shrugs, and then just kind of lights his hands on fire. Then just puts them out again and lights them up and puts them out again.
Roars in laughter again and says, "See, he's a great man. He's a powerful man. We could use somebody like him." And it's at this point that you notice that there's an extra person in the room that you're not familiar with. And so if Carter, Munro, and Winfreda are wearing sort of like relatively obvious, but not like incredibly ostentatious armor, like it's light sort of leathers, they're armed. Rory is wearing thick, furry clothes with like armor underneath. He's prepared, but he's also just like imposing and obviously wealthy. You see another woman who is wearing sort of the furs and trappings of Rory, but without the emblems of sort of warfare to it. And Rory says, "This is the last of our company, and I'm gonna butcher how to see her name." I guess Fionn, you were so good at it last time. I'm actually gonna make you do it first. I can deal.
Yacht Grimsdottir.
Grimsdottir is. I'm fine with that, but yacht.
Yacht. I think it would be yacht.
Don't say that. The L.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Yacht Grimsdottir, and she's a dreamwalker.
A dreamwalker.
I think you two might have something to discuss.
And then Rumpert kind of like quite boldly turns to her and goes, Senorita, would you like to discuss something with me?
She turns and says, I think we might have a few things to discuss. And at this point, Yardley comes through the door with a barrel. And Rory says, perfect!
Rumpert draws his axe from his back, gets the haft of it, and then just kind of goes bang into the corner and wrenches the top off. He picks up the barrel and starts to drink from the rim.
Does he need to roll for that?
Do I need to roll for that? I will roll for that if I need to.
I don't think you need to, but I want you to. So this sounds like so I think it's the immediate impact. Yeah, it would be endurance to say how drunk does he get from this? Does he make a scene of himself? But I don't think that's what's interesting. I think it's a brawn.
Oh no!
I think
it's almost as if I'm skilled in brawn.
Yeah, no, of course
and have 3 fitness. 4d6.
This does not surprise me. Yes, this is what Rumpert's
3
built to do.
successes.
3 successes,
Way.
brilliant. So Rumpert, you do this. You drink as much as you will, and you get as merry as you wish. And Rory is just laughing all the way through. Carter is warming to you, but slowly. And Munro and Winfreda are just applauding and saying, "Yay!"
Rumpert becomes sort of inflamed by their joy, stops supping from the barrel, wipes his mouth, and then kind of offers it to Rory, and then proceeds to do sort of like a, we like to drink with Rory because Rory is our mate. But in check.
We'll cut back to drunken Rumpert later.
Rumpert is the best possible ambassador for this group of people.
I know.
It's true. I can't remember if we did the negotiation part of...
We did not.
We didn't.
I failed the icebreaker, but he warmed up to me when I showed my war injuries. And
Fabulous.
We
So
just
I
sort of lifted him.
I think that this sounds like an excellent negotiation. That Rumpert has just succeeded tremendously.
This is the Jedi way.
It's so not. Cracking
From your
a
perspective.
booze. So meanwhile, Jude, you're familiar with the both the inside and the outside of the Merchant Venturers building because you've broken into it before.
Correct.
How do you wish to be going about it this time? Do you want to just use your same way in? It's starting to clear out, but there are still more lingering people than there were last time.
Yeah, I think I could still break in. Can I take Martha with me?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Do I do a perception check first to sort of
yeah.
discern which room would be best to enter through?
It's probably an insight then, I think. If you want to try and work out... Yeah, we can again sort of do a larger one to try and see sort of like what your scope of the building is, how you scout it out, and how successful.
Oh God, absolutely not. I'm going in blind.
1-1. So
no. Mm-mm. I am going in blind.
I've got to just like very quickly just to sort of say that going into this building and knowing exactly where the right documentation to track undocumented goods, that's going to be difficult. But I can offer you a way to circumnavigate the break-in, a way to circumnavigate any sort of potential difficulty that you could spot right now, and maybe this would lead you to somewhere that would be quite useful. So there's that devil's bargain. If you want to take it, it's there. If you
We haven't had a devil's bargain in a little while.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Mo, no!
Yeah, take the bargain. Always take the bargain.
2d6, right?
Yay!
If it's not a 6, I'll be happy.
Well,
it's
it's spoke too soon.
3!
It was a 6.
Listen, if this is more blood instead of ale, well, Rumpert is going to have a fun time.
This is not blood and ale. This is not
the
that.
devil's bargains recently, so
I know exactly what this is because it
incredible.
keeps happening on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, it's incredible. Oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what to do with that.
Right, so what does the devil whisper in my ear?
Look to your right.
That was not very insightful. Anyway, where do I see by looking to my right?
You see moving just down the street, away from the building, is Oscar Blinkley, and he is looking shifty. He's not a surreptitious man, and he is Siobhan.
Just for clarity, Siobhan's just typed in, "Hey little baby, let me whisper in your ear," said the devil.
Eve in the garden.
Oscar Blinkley is the sort of man who, when he is doing something secretive, looks like he's doing something secretive times 10. He sort of, while he could almost definitely walk down a normal street, he is slipping into an alleyway, like then leaning out to look both ways, and then continuing to walk down the normal street anyway.
Unconspicuously?
It's sort of very deliberately, like he's going somewhere and he doesn't want to be followed, and you hear another whisper just like, "He will take you where you wish to go."
I mean, it's not exactly the temptation of Eve, but I think I have to heed the devil.
What do you want from me, dude?
Look at the devil affirming Jude's gender.
The devil never dead names people.
So meanwhile, while Jude and Martha are following the very, very painfully obvious Oscar Blinkley, over on the other side of town, the pairing that we haven't seen since back in the day at the Cathedral, where rebellion was almost incited, Eli and Piotyr are coming up on the morgue. Now, you introduce yourselves to Dog Morton. Has Dog Morton met either of you before?
Don't
No, I've
Don't
I've
think
never
so.
spoken
No.
with them.
I feel like he's he's about to get another request to look into the morgue basement, and he's just gonna probably just wave you through at this point. I was like, yeah, fine, another set. Sure. Is that the way that you want to go, or do you want to search somewhere else instead?
Well, before we go in, like, do we get any kind of? Is there any kind of negative energy in the air? Like, is there an impending sense of doom? Can we perceive that?
No, not really. Like, I feel like doing it on the site at the top of the cathedral, that was pretty fair. But like in the street outside the morgue near the church, yeah, just a bit of Bristol. Nah, not quite here.
I'm fine going in. That is for Eli is.
Yep, down to the basement, I think.
So Dog Morton points out what previous investigations have shown, which is that the burn marks that were left on the slab where the body was lead towards the furnace where the creature came out of and was previously dragging people into. Your investigation matches up with this, that there are burn marks that lead all the way to the furnace.
Eli, I gotta ask you something. I want you to shimmy up this chimney.
I could shimmy up the chimney.
Let's see some dexterity.
Is Eli not too brawny to shimmy up a chimney?
You'd think. His
Eli has a
muscles,
gymnast's frame.
but no.
Yeah, Piotr's not doing it.
Yeah, I've watched the Olympics. Them gymnasts be huge.
He's
Eli's
like-
also
he's like a
short.
jockey.
They're just ripped but very
Petite,
tiny.
but muscular.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 fitness, and I have dexterity. 4d6.
There's a success.
Will not be burning in the furnace. That's good.
So yeah, Eli, you climb into the furnace. And you start shimmying your way up the chimney. What are you looking out for while you're climbing up?
Can I do like any perception checks for like?
So I think
anything that's there?
I think that there are consistent burn marks up the chimney.
Mhm.
That's not to be disputed. I think this is maybe more of a virtue test to
Okay.
try and get a sense of. Could you make a Dreamcraft test?
I don't have Dreamcraft. I've got animal handling, if that's useful.
That's not
the
useful.
animal brain of the individual handling that.
Sadly. Can
do
computer
you-
help at all?
Do you have any knowledges that can help you out here? Maybe Piotyr can shout up some help.
Don't think so.
What am I doing? Am I just yelling encouragement?
Yeah, fair enough.
Come on, Eli, you can do it. No, I haven't got anything. I've just got 2 virtue.
Yeah, you got 2 virtue though. That's all right.
Yeah,
That's fine.
let's give it a go.
That's a success.
Yay!
Woohoo!
That's a success.
Hoo.
So Eli spots or I guess more how does this look for Eli, sort of tapping into the dream space adjacent to this location?
I think he's probably like propped himself up against one side of the chimney with his like feet the other side, so he's got himself quite comfortable. I mean, he's not one for Dreamcraft, but he did enter a dream for probably the first time, I think, in the
He's on a
last
roll.
episode. Yeah. So I think he channels that kind of headspace that he was in at the time.
Okay, so you look into this chimney that is just suddenly about double the size, but somehow you're still the same size and sticking to the side of the chimney in that sort of dream logic way. And you just sort of look down and you see this figure completely aflame at the bottom of the chimney, just crawling up it with their fingers just like through the stonework. They get past you as if you're not even there, and then go out the top of the chimney.
Oh gosh. I don't know what Eli would think to do in that situation. Just watch it happen.
Hopefully
Is there
follow
anything I need to do? Yeah.
So do you want to
Stick my
follow
little
over?
head out of
Yeah.
the top of the chimney.
You get out the top of the chimney and you see this figure on the side of the building, just sort of standing there, aflame, and you see out further on the other side of Bristol, beckoning. That's not a word. Beckoning.
It can be.
It is now.
It's like beckoning, but echoey because it's dreamy.
Dreamy.
You see over in, I'm going to need you to make an insight test here. And have you got anything relating to sort of like cities or architecture or anything like that?
I've got Celtic, classics. Nope.
Cool. That's
Nope,
all right.
Nothing. Sorry, what test was it?
Insight.
I've got 2 intelligence. This is not great.
Eli's pretty well rounded.
Yeah. Just hope for the best.
That's an
Huzzah!
Oh,
Hey!
damn, I'm doing well today.
So beckoning, you Eli didn't see the giant Harborim, but Eli is now seeing the giant Harborim standing there, riding a snake, devilishly handsome, though the images wouldn't tell you it, with 3 heads, one a cat, one a snake, and one a man's. And he's standing and beckoning over to the flaming man over the top of the warehouse district.
Wow.
And so at the same time, in the warehouse district, Jude, you follow Oscar Blinkley as he arrives at the door to a warehouse. He produces from under his coat a key and then mimes unlocking the warehouse door, rushes over the square to another building, unlocks that one.
What a strange little man.
I follow.
So do you just do you head through the door behind him, or do you want to have a sort of like look in and scope it out?
Are there any windows to this building?
Yeah, so it's a warehouse like the others. There are some sort of like smaller windows lining sort of like the top. They won't open up, but there's probably also some windows on one side that lead to an office section of the building.
Right. Can I look through these? What is the party thing? Should I just try and sneak in?
Don't walk into the anonymous warehouse without trying to work it, without like looking into the anonymous warehouse.
Especially with Eli seeing the demon man riding this snake.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Jude and Martha will sort of go.
That's dramatic irony.
We'll go through to several windows and try and peek where Oscar is.
So yeah, give us some perception.
Can I add Martha to this because she has +1 on scout and +1 on
that sounds
steal.
Very, very reasonable. Yeah. 5 dice and 2 successes. You could of course make it 3 successes with the devil's bargain. But
listen. Calm down.
Yeah, okay. No,
Calm down, Lucifer.
I won't push my luck. The devil would. Did you hear the whisperings? But nah.
He only gets as far as
away.
It's like not right now. So between you and Martha, you get some good vantage points. You very quickly sort of search around the building. A lot of these windows seem to have crates and boxes in front of them that block the view, but Martha is able to find sort of like a place on the far side that she sort of like hoists herself up to, almost sort of spider-like climbing the building and looking.
Perfect.
I see her as a very weird child.
I think she looks a bit like the little girl in Hereditary. That's how
absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are very incorrect.
Good. I'll be too afraid to keep playing. I need to go lie down. So you both have a look through the window and you see Oscar Blinkley standing there talking to a woman with a gun. The woman is I've previously been describing her in my head as the Keira Knightley in the 3rd Pirates of the Caribbean film, but Spanish.
Nice.
I can see it.
Is there an aesthetic difference between any of the Keira Knightleys and the Pirates of the Caribbean films?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
of course.
big one.
I'm sorry.
She's in Pirates of the Caribbean 3. She is Pirate Queen.
Oh right, yeah.
Pirate Queen.
You know that movie had an interval when it came out? I remember like an interval watching that movie in the cinema. It was so long.
I don't think I got an interval. I did go see it in the cinema.
Well, apparently you don't go to the same cinemas.
Well, we grew up in very different parts of the country.
It's very true.
The Irish have special access.
I didn't grow up in Ireland.
Listen.
At the point they do have special access.
I won't respond to logic.
It followed you, Fionn, not Siobhan. Why do you both have "on" in your name? Anyway.
To fox the white man.
Specifically.
We go by Whitey and the hair.
Siobhan being the whitey.
Yeah.
Because Fionn, your hair is lovely.
It is. It's my third best feature.
We won't go into that.
We don't need to. One and
so
two speak for themselves.
Keira Knightley in the third Pirates of the Caribbean film
Okay.
is there talking to Oscar Blinkley. You can't hear the conversation. The gun isn't necessarily pointed at him, but it's being waved around semi-threateningly.
I imagine I can't hear any of it through the windows.
No.
No.
These are oldie day windows that were just
Is there anyone
not
else
double
in the
glazed,
building?
but just thick. It seems to be just the two of them.
Just the two of them. Can I then wait for him to leave, sneak in, incapacitate this woman, and then find out more?
So you keep watching their interaction. You see slowly over the course of it, Blinkley, they seem to come to some sort of understanding because the gun is then holstered. Blinkley heads over to one of the crates, prizes it open, pulls some things out of it, some goods, and heads over to the door. He's holding too many things to sort of like feasibly carry, and so it looks ridiculous because he's a ridiculous man. The woman then sits on a crate as he leaves.
What does the party want me to do? Do they want me to follow Blinkley and incapacitate him, or incapacitate this woman and then hypnotize her into telling me all her secrets?
Right. Well, let's put a pin in the old hypnosis because we don't know that even works.
It does.
No, I think that was mostly confidence and Alex letting us get away with something. I don't think that worked at all. In fact,
Canonically, we have hypnotized with Jude twice now.
I would also like to emphasize the fact that if Jude was heading to Aldworth's estate right now, that might not go as well as dream and forget me. It is all well. Bye bye. Considering they were in significant emotional turmoil at the time, I feel like there was the opportunity to hypnotize them.
If I hypnotize this woman, what I plan to do is just put her back a few minutes into the conversation with Oscar.
I don't think you should hypnotize her, Felix. I don't think you should do that.
No,
Mostly because she's got a gun.
I would distract her with Martha and knock her out when she can't see you.
Well, that was my plan all along, to knock her out first.
But I don't think you should wake her up to hypnotize her, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Knock her out, have a look around, and then...
Tie her up, keep her there. That's fine.
Or don't do that, because maybe she's a witch, and we simply don't know. Either way, I feel like Blinkley is a stooge.
Even if she is a witch, she is still a human. So if I sneak in undetected, then by virtue of my talents as a rogue, I can knock her unconscious.
Humans draw the line at the witches, for they have immense, powerful modifications. As
I will have you know that the talent says either kill an unalerted human or
Woman.
Sorry. My
Very
apologies.
specific.
That was Freudian.
Immobilize an unalerted human or monster whose strength is lower than your rank. So there is a chance.
Yeah, what's your rank?
7. No, I'm lying. 6.
Oh.
But if she's a witch, then her strength will be at least like 12.
Only if she's the hand.
True.
Okay,
Which she isn't.
True.
I say try and knock her out.
Go for
If
it.
you don't, you can escape.
This is true. I can escape.
The first issue that you are presented with is that she seems to be looking at the door. So if you came in, there's most likely a gun pointed in your direction, unless you can somehow sneak through a door that somebody is watching.
I'm saying the Martha distraction.
Ooh.
Yeah, because she does look like a beggar
Martha.
little girl, right?
Unless she looks like the girl in Hereditary, in which case she is just keeping that gun in her face.
No, I am maintaining the aesthetic that she looks like Alice and Alice
Oh
Madness
yeah,
Returns.
no, I remember that now.
So she's haggard and
Still quite
mentally
haunted.
unwell. I could try that. If I put Martha to go through and sort of beg, which she should be good at as she is a former beggar, I don't know, for food or money or whatever, could I then sneak in behind her?
Yeah, if she's able to successfully distract Keira Knightley. So would you like to make a performance test for me, please? Through our wonderful Martha.
Is this with my sway?
Yeah, because she doesn't have sway. She's an NPC.
This
NPC
might
can't
not
roll
work.
dice. That's illegal. You
I'm
can have an
sorry.
extra dice for her help.
All right, we'll see how this goes. Not well.
All failures. So
Um,
you hear as Martha heads through the door very immediately, and I won't do a Spanish accent. It's tragedy. You hear a gun cock and say, "You're in the wrong building, girl. Step back out." What does Martha do?
This is where you wish Martha was an actor.
If only Martha were famed actor Wallace Blick.
You could easily impersonate a little beggar girl.
You couldn't even impersonate someone watching a house.
Wallace in a bad wig.
Oh god.
I'm not sure. What would happen if I were to go in? Is this could I have Martha just duck away and for me to go in? I feel like I could sustain some damage if I were to be shot at.
You want to try and shoot first?
I can throw 2 daggers.
Felix, look at my hands.
Yeah.
What are
Look
your
at my
hands?
hands.
Do the daggers.
Do it.
Do the
Do
daggers.
it. Do it.
Yeah,
Don't
No, I
kill
want to.
this woman.
Never
I
listen
don't want
to
to
Fiona.
kill her. She doesn't have to die.
So you want to maybe like throwing dagger, distract, and then measure the distance and thwack.
All right.
Is there
Okay.
any way you can
If I
just
can
go
What
get
if you
closer.
use your knowledge of vitalism to try and throw a dagger into a specific nerve point, like acupuncture style,
Make her
to
drop
like
the
to
Paralyze
like
her.
immediately kind of paralyze her from like the eyebrows down.
All right. Let's.
Oh,
This is still brutal.
Nice.
interesting.
That's going to be real difficult. Throwing the knife so that she drops the gun, doable. Throwing the knife so that she is
Yeah, I can go
paralyzed.
for that one. I can go
From
for
the eyebrows
for the-
down.
What will you have me roll?
It'll be a weaponry test, please.
Right. And this is with vitalism.
Add a vitalism die so that you can get the right point in Keira Knightley's arm so that she drops the gun.
Do you have weaponry?
I do.
Oh fuck! Yes,
Oh
they do.
fuck!
You
This
could
is
have
so cool.
you could have done that right. You could have done that pressure point. So I think, yeah, okay. Describe this to me, and if you want to incapacitate this woman, please go ahead. How does Jude enter this room and immediately fuck shit up?
Well, I will say that because there are 2 things that happen here, but I don't want to apply one of them if that's okay. Oh no, actually it doesn't. I have lightning hands, so not only can I incapacitate one of her arms, I could also incapacitate one of her legs. So what Jude does is, upon hearing the cock, he is very protective of Martha. I don't know if I've described this relationship before. They are affectionate but not loving to one another. There is an undertone of efficiency. He likes Martha because she's competent and because she needed help. And so upon hearing the gun cock and the threat, he will... Is the door open?
Yeah, Martha's not closed it behind her.
Well, he will just swivel around and throw those daggers at one of her arms, so hopefully the one that's holding most of the gun, and one of her legs, preferably the one on the same side, so that she may find very much difficulty in any balancing act that she might want to engage in.
Kind of strokes out.
So do you also want to close the distance and thwack her, or do you want to keep her conscious and flailing? I
don't want to thwack her. I want to thwack the gun.
Right. Okay. So you throw the 2 knives. The gun sprawls to the floor. She screams out in pain.
Can I have Martha thwack the gun? Just kick it away.
Yeah, Martha then immediately just like runs over. Do you want her to grab the gun or thwack it away?
Throw it away, as far away from this woman as possible.
Yeah, so she picks up the gun and then throws it to the other side of the warehouse. And the woman just swears very loudly in Spanish.
Which Jude can understand.
She says, fuck! So I think she then she draws a knife of her own in her not good hand, and then sort of like staggers to the floor, but then sort of like half staggers up again and seems like if you get close, she'll shank you.
Right. Can I speak to this woman as
yeah,
opposed to hitting her?
She holds it out in front of her, leaning back against one of the crates, and says, "Who the fuck are you, and what do you want here?"
Very good. Well, let me try something. I will say Jude will sort of pace around, in one hand swiveling the knife, in the other one swiveling his cleaver.
And Stuck in the middle with you starts playing.
And we'll say, I have questions, and you, my lady, appear to have knowledge that I have interest in. It is at this time that Martha also takes out her scissors and starts playing with them. Now, I have no interest in hurting you any further, and if you provide me with what I need to know, then I am happy to, rehabilitate you. Can I also, while I do this, can I do a perception check on, actually it wouldn't work because I don't have any knowledges that would fit, to decide whether there's any magic around her.
Do you wanna firstly command?
Command?
Just to sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Because you're trying to intimidate her.
Can we get a situational die from her being stuck with daggers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuck with daggers, threatened with many shiny things.
Yeah, like scissors, cleaver, and throwing dagger that is already
Huzzah!
There's a success in there. So she says, you're clearly someone not to be fucked with. I've fucked with plenty of people in my time who are not to be fucked with, and I can see that I don't want to cross you. And she just throws the knife down to the ground and says, ask away, but make it quick. I'd quite like to. And she gestures to the knives that are still in her.
Yeah. Well, party, please throw out some questions. Do we want?
What's she doing with Oscar Blinkley? What's in the warehouse? What are they doing with explosives?
Yes.
Very good.
Ask her name is a pleasantry.
Okay.
Shall we introduce that as a note of kindness?
Her name is Noella Perez.
Oh,
she does have
she does have Spanish Keira Knightley name.
And she says that Blinkley is a means to an end.
Right.
She says that she's just another person in a long chain carrying out a whole set of orders, and she is working for the East India Trading Company.
Right.
And they are trying to she's using Blinkley to offload goods without dealing with any local duties, customs, taxes, making sure that nothing goes to the city of Bristol.
Bloody tax avoidance. It's the bane of our existence as a society, guys. People not paying their bloody dues.
And what is in the warehouse specifically? What did he take from the warehouse?
More sugar to take to his pitiful contacts.
Can you give me some names? I will not mention her.
She shrugs and says, I'm afraid I don't know who he deals with. He's nothing of my concern. I'm here to just offload the goods to him, make sure that he is able to do something with them and pay me. But he keeps faffing. I'm sure there's something that she reaches for when saying faffing. because that's infinitely colloquially British.
Right.
Ask about the sugar bombs if she knows about them.
All right. Does the lady have any awareness of what this Oscar Blinkley is doing with so much sugar?
She laughs and says she couldn't care less.
Well,
ask her if she'd be willing if
I'm trying to get her on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here is my proposition for the lady. This Blinkley man, he is an annoyance to me and my associates. Provided that I restore you to functionality, would the lady have any interest in perhaps collaborating into ensuring that the Blinkley man, that she gets her gold's worth from the Blinkley man and perhaps eliminate him as a nuisance?
She laughs quite deeply and says that she's willing to sell out Blinkley for her life. Yes. We cut to Tanazart traveling just over 2/3 of the way to Barrow-Court. You're just arriving on the outskirts of Barrow-Gurney when you see, cresting the horizon, a thick black cloud that is just sitting in front of the light of the waning sun.
Tanazart will look up into the sky. I did not know they had locusts here in England.
The cloud moves quicker than any cloud does, and it descends upon what appears to be your destination of Barrow-Court. And I can safely say that it is the worst place to be for this entire scenario.
The people at the court are definitely getting PTSD from this experience.
It's going to be bad.
What a really
Tanazart will turn to Lady Chasley. I imagine Mr. Aldworth will be very forthcoming.
She lights up the cigarette. I want her to have grizzled, hard-boiled detective vibes.
She has them.
Tanazart's kind of got like Hans Lander vibes from Inglourious Bastards, like with the pipe, the kind of joviality. It's real Hans Lander.
I feel like in a few years, Rebecca Chasley will turn into one of those. It's very specific, but Romanian woman doctor that's been smoking all her life voice, kind of like who was the Joey's agent in Friends?
Estelle.
Yeah, that's where she's headed.
Tanazart and Chasley arrive at the outskirts of Barrow-Court to find it more or less in disarray. I think that you're met with someone who we only recognize by sight, but one of the young men that Jude hypnotized, who sort of like holds out his hand and says, "Sorry, we're not having people over to the court today. I understand if you've been promised to meet Mr. Aldworth, but he's staying in an inn in the village, and nobody's to head up to the estate." And he keeps sort of like looking behind him at the cloud that has descended upon Barrow-Court, and the faint sort of like buzzing sound that can be heard from several hundred meters away.
Young man, I have ridden a very long way.
I appreciate that, and I'm sorry, Mom, but you don't want to be going over there.
I have some experience with locusts.
Chastity turns to you, looks up at the horse and says, I don't know if we do want to be going over there.
But wasn't there something you wanted to find?
Yes, but I wanted to talk to Aldworth, and Aldworth, oh, fuck, we did want to go in his... and she completely ignores the boy, and says, look, can you get us through this?
Rely upon me, my lady.
No, very good. And she just starts to walk past the young man. And he says, no, mom, you can't be going. And she says, oh, shut up. And just sort of pushes him away very slightly. And says, come, run him over if you need to.
Tanazart
Hit him with your horse's head.
And simply go, shh.
He just nods and then sort of sighs and resumes his post like nothing's happened.
I imagine Tanazart did a low cackle as she walked away. Well, rode away.
Yeah.
I enjoy this duo.
So how are you going to get through a swarm of locusts? Might I add devil locusts?
Orienteering?
I do have orienteering.
For those who it is not inherently obvious, this is that devil's bargain.
It was a plague of locusts, was it?
Yeah. Don't worry, there's not just a plague of locusts wandering about.
Try and find the best path through these locusts. What are you thinking here, Dean?
I'm thinking that it's going to be like you can insight, and that's all well and good, but the fact of the matter will be that the best path through the locusts is to definitely just not go through the locusts. Like it's a swarming cloud of locusts. It's not like there's a convenient path that they create through it.
How much tobacco does Rebecca Chastity have? You could smoke the locusts.
She's probably got a fair bit on her. She probably has to keep rolling, or she probably pre-rolls every day about a pack 20.
I imagine she has someone for that. Let's be honest.
It might be something that she likes to do herself.
We could try and smoke these locusts out of our way.
All right,
I don't think that's going to work. But
I'm curious to see that happen. I think that'll be fun.
Ruinous for the lungs.
I think this is machinery.
I have 2 intelligence, but not machinery.
Surely fortitude. If they're chain smoking.
Oh, they're not chain smoking it. I don't. You're not chain.
No.
You're not just smoking ridiculous quantities of tobacco.
And then blowing puffs into
the Tanazart will blow one of those Gandalf ships to go through the locusts.
That's what I was thinking.
You're trying to sort of like, I imagine that you don't just use the tobacco that's in Lady Chastity's pocket and instead sort of like get some semi-dried brush because it is, it's the height of summer. Use the tobacco. I don't know if tobacco creates extra smoke. Sure, why not? And then just start creating sort of like methods of burning for maximum.
You'd also need to work out a way to cover your faces.
Yeah, absolutely, engineering.
Then let me try 3d6.
So that's a 6, Siobhan. And I've said this before. It's probably going to be a lower roll next time. And you're going to be able to get into Barracourt with nobody there.
Is this a devil's bargain?
Let's roll them dice.
Devil's bargains to deal with devil's bargains. Compounded.
It's worse.
A 6 to 5.
No.
Oh, but you know what? This might clear away the locusts.
I like the sound of that.
Oh yeah, damn well will.
Oh God.
You know what? It's a bit early, but it's a nice note to finish on. Is above everybody, sort of at the same time. I imagine it as those shots in films that are just sort of like multiple screens at once. Oh, that was a bad way to describe it.
Split screens, you mean, Alex?
Split screens. I all that was in my head was the ending of episodes of 24.
You've watched 24?
All the way through.
Oh God, that's so dark.
I've watched so much TV, man.
I imagine all of the split action as like a sequence in Sense8 whenever there's one in game.
See, I should have watched Sense8 because I think that's better than 24, but I have.
You should. It's really lovely. I recommend Sense8.
So you all hear just a crack of thunder that streaks. Thunder doesn't streak across the sky, but the lightning that follows.
The lightning does, yeah.
The lightning that follows sure does. And then almost immediately, just thick hail and rain floods out of the sky. Eli, you're immediately bolted out
chimney.
of your... Don't worry, Eli won't drown in the chimney.
Okay,
Eli, you're immediately vaulted out of your dream vision.
Oh no, Rumpert's stuck inside a pub. What's he gonna do, guys? He'll probably have to just, I don't know, drink and drink and drink and drink.
Yeah, it's a thick and bad storm that has immediately erupted. But a lightning bolt strikes the ground at Barrow Court. And the locusts are decidedly unhappy about this. The smoke plan doesn't work anymore. but the locusts are scared away by the storm anyway, and I want to say roost. That feels like definitely the wrong word. Find somewhere to set up shop.
Tanazart will
even worse,
throw down the now wet brush that she was holding. Look to Lady Chasley. It reminds me of being at sea.
That's all well and good for
what
you.
She said she was gonna do, so.
Chasley turns and says, "Strangeness seems to follow you people."
Professional hazard.
And you head into Barrow Court. And let's leave it there. Yeah, fun, wild. 2 devil's bargains, and both of them really bad.
At least one of them drove off the other. Like that's something, in a manner of speaking.
In a manner of speaking.
Well, at least they're additive and not exponential.
And by tomorrow, it should be a fresh, sunny day.
Post-flood.
Well, there's lots of hills in Bristol, so it'll all go downstream.
It's also really fortunate that Bristol isn't near a river or anything.
Fuck! It's near a river!
Listen, at least you can't set off bombs because they get wet, right?
It's true.
But it also means that I can't necessarily set anything aflame.
Not outside. You can still burn buildings
outside,
down.
that's true. And again, I am stuck in a pub.
Oh no.
And quite intoxicated.
Well, that remains to be seen. I haven't rolled for how intoxicated I am yet, just for my impressive drinking skills.
Nah, you did very well brawning that. I'm not going to make you roll that again. So let's sign off. So you can find us at Daemonologie RPG. That's DAE, Monologia, and then IE instead of a Y. Daemonologie RPG. It's the best way of saying it. Don't worry about it. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and don't put your head in your hands just because I said Monologia. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Find us there. You can also email us at demonologyrpg@gmail.com. So please do. We'd love to hear from you. Also, the music you heard is by Natasha Soffler, and the graphic design is by Oscar Russell of Watchtower Design. And with that, thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I could, of course, record it at another time or use the same one again and again. But as we have covered, ban. Hello and welcome to Daemonologie. And actually, fuck. Oh, shit.
Hubris.
Okay.
Leave that one in.
Produced by Dick Wolf.
Produced by me, bitch.